Katia Woods, Philadelphia Tribune. Hi, nice to meet you. I have to say, I really enjoyed this movie. Top to bottom, it is everything that I loved growing up about Batman. It was dark, it was gritty, it was like dirty in a good way. And I love how your role as Gordon was elevated to be kind of like you were his Robin, for lack of a better word. Talk about what it's like for you to step into this wonderful world of darkness and mesmerization.
Well, I I think I was, his Gordon. He was my Batman. I mean, the Robin of it all. I think they are a kind of dynamic duo in this film, which was exciting for me. And when I read the script, I realized that this Gordon would be engaged in a way that maybe we hadn't seen in some time, and that's owing to Matt Reeves' vision. And he made some choices that were very specific. For example, Gordon's being a lieutenant. His being a lieutenant kind of activates the character in a way that serves the interests of the film, because our film is, yes, it's a Batman film. It's adrenaline filled. It's kinetic. But at the same time, it's psychological, it's emotional, and it's mystery driven. And so the detective side of things is front and center. And Matt wanted to go back to the comics and this idea of Batman as the world's greatest detective. And so Gordon, being a cop in the street, allows that partnership between the two of them to be examined, and to help drive us through much of the action of the film. I I you know I think that um, I think that that's your answer.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite parts of this film is it kind of like had elements of like Seven, and with the Riddler really, putting Batman and Gordon through the paces. Just when you think they're on the right track, with the clues and with it's a beautiful maze. How much fun was that for you? Because while we know that you're a good guy, your character is constantly being tested. Who can he trust? Uh, will there be an end to the madness? Is Batman's motives? Is he focused? You have all these things that he's dealing with, and then on top of that, he's trying to do his job. So, how much of fun was that for you, just diving into all these different turns?
No, it was great fun. And the thing that I kept being reminded of is that uh, Gordon he's a good man trying to do the best he can, but every step of the way he's overwhelmed. Every step of the way he's about to drop his head under the water. And so this relationship with Batman is a relationship of necessity for Gordon, uh, in this Gotham that we inhabit, that is clearly a once great city gone wrong, a once great city decayed. And so the two of them find one another, and they find trust in one another, because the trust has almost disappeared in all other parts of the city. So it gave a lot to play with. And I thought it was exciting because it would give us elements to the Gordon character that maybe we hadn't explored as deeply in previous films, uh, but we get to do so here.
Also nice. The one thing I also additionally like this, he never once was like, I want to know who the man is underneath the costume.
Yeah.
That in a way it almost felt like he felt like it's one thing that's keeping things kind of like wholly good, is having that mystery of not knowing that in reality this is Bruce Wayne. Do you know what I mean? Do
Yeah.
you think that's a protective mechanism for him to just be like, you know what, let me have a little bit of mystery. Let me have a little bit of that, that mystique of goodness in this relationship. And maybe if I know who it is, it will be ruined.
Yeah, I think there's a degree of respect that Gordon has for Batman, and he appreciates that he's made this choice. He doesn't necessarily know why this is the choice that he makes to dress as this half man, half animal, and prowl the streets, but he respects it. And they're desperate times, and so uh, Gordon is. I think that's just one more element of his character that Batman can trust. So um, we'll see where that goes. He's certainly curious, though. He's certainly curious about who this man might be. But I also think that it speaks to the power of Rob's performance, Rob Pattinson, because Gordon's a cop. He's, got these detective skills. And ordinarily we say, I mean, it's kind of obvious that Bruce Wayne is under that cowl. But with Rob's performance, there's such a distinction between his Bruce Wayne and his Batman that it's not, it's not such an easy tell, simply even by looking in the eyes, the way he expresses himself through his eyes as the Batman, very different than the way he expresses himself through his eyes as Bruce Wayne, the way he carries himself, just his entire presence, not just in terms of what the suit does for him, but there's some wonderful subtleties of movement, differences in movement that he does that are really, really just so transformative and wonderful. I really, really think he's interpreted these two characters in new and exciting ways.
I also liked how your character was presented in terms of physicality and clothing. I like that the raincoat reminded me a little bit of Columbo, the disheveled, not necessarily neat,
Right.
but, you know, very like old school in that presentation. Like, how much of a say did you have on that? Because it does make you because you have obviously in Batman, the exterior is so important to the character. And then in Gordon, you're looking at his strengths and how he presents himself and how he interacts, and the costuming is more subdued. So how much of a say did you have in that?
Yeah, we talked about that a lot, and what I was hoping to go for and what we came to agreement on was a guy who really doesn't have time to be changing his clothes a whole lot and thinking about what tie he has on, and again, it just speaks to Gordon as just being continually up against the wall, and so his focus was on other things. Just grab that coat and go. That was it. It just kind of uh, you know a rapper for the overwhelmed, and I did like that it had this kind of old school detective feel about it as well. Um, so yeah, yeah.
I have to say, I'm thrilled for you. Obviously, we know you from a lot of your roles that are more serious. And to see you in this franchise, I think means a lot. I think, especially for a lot of young Black and brown boys who are going to be like, hey, he looks like us and he is right in the thick of things doing his thing. So I'm thrilled for that. And I think you brought a lot to this really, really cool movie.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much and best of luck to you.
You too.